The other day, I talked to you about the left side uh, power that we have by which we desire. In Sahaja Yoga language, we call it as Mahakali power. And this power gives us the left side, which is our subconscious. And the subconscious, which gives us the conditioning. Through our subconscious only, we become conditioned. Now, how does our subconscious takes the conditioning? In between the thought, there's a very little space which we can call as the silence, as the present. But the thought that comes to you rises and falls off, stops for a while, and again another thought starts and falls off. The first thought that rises, we can see the rising of the thought, not the falling of it. And when it falls, it goes into the subconscious. Another one also rises. It rises and again it falls, it goes into the subconscious. That's how our subconscious starts building up. How do the thoughts come into us? Thought comes to us because human beings, when they look at a thing, they have a method of projecting their mind into it. If you have got a blackboard, I can tell you how it happens. Can you wipe it off? We wanted to talk about this subject, but it's rather complicated, but we have to somehow or other face it sometimes in life. This is the brain talking. This is facial attack. It starts as a little thing like that, you see. Then grows up into a flat surface. Then goes on rising like that till it becomes this kind of a thing, which is the area, you can say, of the brain which builds up. Alright. So what happens? The energy that falls onto it in the very child is energy when you are pregnant and the mother is pregnant and the child is in the fetal stage. In the fetal stage, this happens about second month or so. Then the energy falls in three parts, one like that, one like that. This is one energy, that is Brahmashan. One energy. Because there are three parts, it gets divided into three, you can say. So, just now we are not concerned with this, we talk about this. This when it comes here, it passes through two days. Because we have two matters, white matter and gray. Into 2 days. And that's why. And inside is a hollow thing. So, because of its different density, it goes into a reflection. Then this one also goes into a reflection. Now, this thing has to go into vertebra oblongata, means the spinal cord, alright, which is here. Something like that. So it has to divert itself. When it goes like that, here, I don't know if you know the principle of parallelogram of forces. It has to break into a component which goes like that. So you have one component going down like that and one going like that. In the same way it happens to this one also at this point. You can say. So we have the attention of the human beings are going down. Now this one that is going down is building up our sympathetic nerves. This one are going down, and this one that is going out builds up our attention, which goes to things. Now it falls onto any matter. This reacts. This attention does not know what to do. It goes and gets involved into it, carrying this, like English, going to India to talk to it, that's how the muck comes up. And then it is thrown into the like that. This is how the two systems develop. This is the subconscious. This is the supraconscious. This is the suprego, this is the supra. Now to take this attention inside is the problem. This attention has to go to the spirit. It's not so dirty. But this attention has to go to the spirit. Now, how we take it? When the subconscious acts, for example, I put my, say, attention onto this chair. Right? So now, if I am not attached to it, I see it just as a plane. After realization, I can see that. But before realization, to me, this is a precious thing. This is my possession. This is my home. And this one is a emblem of some sort of my greatness, whatever it is. All these ideas come into my head. Then I get involved into this one. Then this becomes a conditioning factor. Supposing something happens to this chair, then I'm fit. I may even become mad. I can go to lunatic. That's possible. People do. I mean, for something interior, they can go into madness. But it has nothing to do with you. See, it's nothing. It's outside. It's outside. It is not inside. Here. So, the devised methods. These are make-believes. Complete make-believes. And the subconscious gives us a make-believe. Like, you must have heard, I was laughing at the joke and saying that I believe, of course I believe. I have faith. What? What is it? I believe in God. So, are you obliging God or yourself? It's difficult for us to understand that by believing or not believing, God exists, whether you like it or not. He exists. But then the projection starts moving in such a way that we start even holding Him according to our condition. For example, to an Indian, God must have a leg. For an Englishman, the God must have, I should say, but a cigar. For a Buddhist, God must have long ears hanging over there. Imagine. Or say to a Greek, God must have mustaches. I've always done. So that God has to conform to all the ideas of humanity. Right? Now, he is to be born somewhere, poor thing. He has to be born. So how could he be born there? I mean, it is too much to say about God like that. He is the one who has created this universe. In that huge thing. We are not even a speck. We are deciding about him everything. It's rather mysterious, isn't it? How can an ant decide about Caxton Hall, saying that, oh, this door should not have been there? This is nothing relatively. It's much more, much more. But this is what happens to us because our attention is just flashing up. This has also given us the freedom to be ourselves in the sense, ourselves means I-ness. I am so and so. Comes to us because the rising of ego and superego cuts you out completely from the all-pervading power. And you become an eggshell, you become an egg. And the shell, one side is the ego, another side is the soul. Now, pertaining to our seeking also, we use the same method. That I think. First starts with I think, you see. Whatever you think is not God. Because if you could think, then he is not God. This is the absolute logic. He is too great that you could think about him. You can only become one with it. It would be like a little bird trying to fathom the ocean. Now when we start our seeking, we come here with our conditionings. And the subconscious, today I'm talking about subconscious, not so much of ego, but of subconscious, because I started talking on subconscious, is still there. And the worst part of the subconscious is, the worst of all is, that if the personality is ego-oriented, then for him the subconscious is the most important. Such a person becomes a very obstinate seeker. Very obstinate. He will start judging a person according to one's subconscious. For example, I don't like, or you become judgmental. See, I don't like such a person. Oh, why? Oh, I just don't like. Then the ego comes in to explain it, saying that, oh, must be something wrong with that person, which I have felt through my spirit. I mean, spirit you have not reached as yet. No, not yet. We must accept. Sahaja Yoga is not a make-believe. It is absolutely down-to-earth truth. You cannot believe that, oh, I am spiritually all right. Yes, I've got it. I felt very much better. I felt very much better is not the way to look at your seeking. And when the ego becomes in charge of that subconscious, then seeking is very difficult. Because ego starts deciding everything, you start judging everything with ego, and the subconscious is such a dubious thing, very dubious. Now, I would say Freud did work on the subconscious area.
We did work on the subconscious. Yes, do you want something? Yes, it's all right? All right. It is a very dubious thing within us. Say somebody's mother has got green eyes. The boy will be fascinated by green eyes. Supposing the mother is modern and has got a bald head but uses, say, a wig, right? And if she doesn't change her wig much, then he may like a particular type of a wig. But if she say changes too much, he may like a bald-headed woman. Can't say. So the subconscious works out with such transitory things that to get it fixed also is a difficult thing. And when it is fixed, to remove it is even more difficult. Some people become routinous in their nature, absolutely routinous. They walk like blind. They get up early in the morning, they take their tea, the newspaper has to be there. If newspaper is not there, they cannot do anything the whole day. Newspaper they must read. I mean, it's good that we don't read newspapers, but he can't live without it. So he must have his newspaper before him. He takes his newspaper, and the counted number of sips he'll take of the tea. Then he'll go into the bathroom with counted number of steps. Will take the bath the same way, absolutely the nail cutter here, this, there. He just walks like this, on. Absolutely joyless, lifeless life he leads. It's a routine. Another person is a topsy-turvy. Both the extremes come from our subconscious. If person is very routinous and meticulous, he could be a very bad headache. He's a very unpopular person. He gives us a headache because he's used to a meticulous thing. He makes everybody meticulous. He wants everybody to be meticulous. If somebody is not meticulous, then he gets after the life of that person. And I have seen some people, if they say such a person coming in the morning, they run away and have a bath in India. Miserliness also comes from such habits. All such headaches come from subconscious. But to them, because they have their ego, they said, no, I am not miserly, I am economical. Ego finds out words, you see, to make something ugly look very nice. And this is how we start off looking after our subconscious and nourishing it. Nicely it's coming up. We do not want to face ourselves. Even before realization, we can face ourselves. That why are we so abnormal? Why everyone calls me a bore? No one likes my company. I have to assert myself too much to be in the company of others. There is no magnetism left in me. What's the matter? Why? Why that people do not want me? Why they want to get rid of me? But ego is something, oh, they're useless, they're good for nothing. I'm such a higher personality, I'm such and such, I'm a person of taste, I'm this, I'm that. And such people can end up with dogs, or maybe some cats, I don't know. Some of them end up with even snakes, not with human beings. The subconscious has so many problems which Freud has brought forward and said that this is the subconscious. But he was such a limited man and a half-baked person that he himself suffered from all the patients who came to him, and he got all their diseases. Really, he became a case of complete materia medica. So whatever he has said has definitely helped us to see how many varieties of subconscious attacks we can have. But at the same time, he has given us no solutions. And he has made us very one-sided. That is, do not allow yourself to be conditioned. Do not allow yourself to be conditioned. Now, when we say like that, our subconscious may not be very much powerful. But the other side is even worse. The other side is a terrible, absolutely terrorizing thing called Mr. Ego. If that develops, then there is no end to our nonsense. Then you become nothing but an I, like a stick. Anybody comes there, he knows you are that. So what to do is the problem. The dilemma before people is what to do. If you get rid of your subconscious, then you will get your supraconscious, in the sense that you start planning for the future. Then what's wrong? The family system breaks out. The sinfulness is accepted. There is no righteousness in life. Nobody can talk of righteousness. There's no worry about what you are doing to the society or to yourself. What's wrong? If I'm doing like that, what's wrong? It goes on like that. So the other side develops. Now the first side, subconscious, gives you the deadliest disease called cancer. Cancer comes from the subconscious area, not from the supraconscious. But from supraconscious, you develop diseases like heart, paralysis, diabetes. Cancer is developed because your subconscious is overloaded. It may work out through ego, doesn't matter. Means you create an emergency within yourself. If you create an emergency within you, physical, mental, emotional, any kind of an emergency, means you are loading your subconscious. For example, I go on rubbing this finger all my life. There are people, funny type we have. There are some called Jains, I don't know if you have heard about them. In their religion, you are not supposed to use any razor. I don't know why. They are especially against razors, absolutely. So you have to pluck your hair from all over with your own hand. They go on plucking their hair because they are not supposed to cut it. See, you cannot use razor. Can you imagine? That extreme is the truth. So they go on plucking like this all the time. And even if they have lost all their hair, still they'll be going on like that. This can develop an emergency in the different muscles into different hands. Anything can develop an emergency, like as you suggested last time, that if you put a metal in the body, it develops an emergency. Just if you introduce a metal, as soon as an emergency is created, the subconscious starts wriggling, pumping, expanding. When the subconscious starts expanding, then we move to the left-hand side. The movement to the left-hand side gives us a very dangerous position. Because in the left-hand side is the collective subconscious. All that is dead since your creation, I'm again saying that, is all there. All the kinds of vegetables that have gone out of circulation, of evolution, all the kinds of matter that have gone out of circulation, all the kinds of, you can say, insects, animals, and the last human beings. All that is dead exists within ourselves, within our being. Everything exists within us. We don't have to go outside. So we get exposed to that very dangerous area of subconscious when it expands. You may not be consciously conditioning yourself. For example, people thought it is too much conditioning to wear the grey suits or say the tail coats. It may be too much. So they said, all right, let us take to another style of life. So they said, oh, this is all junk. Let's dress up in such a way that we look like nothing on earth. All right. This is an emergency. Because you look so funny, you are to be attacked. Simple thing is, say London is a place where you must walk with an umbrella. Actually, you play your hockey and also football with an umbrella on. And a person who walks without an umbrella during rain in London has to get cold. He may say, oh, I don't care, you see, I am not formal. That's how the dress develops, that's how the attitudes develop. Now he says, I'm not going to be conditioned. No, I'm not going to carry an umbrella. If it is raining, doesn't matter. I'm not going to have raincoat or anything, any appendages like that. You see, I'll just walk in my swimsuit. He'll really swim through, I tell you. You just can't do that. You are a human being. You are not a hippopotamus. But they want to be hippopotamus when they are human beings. Because of ego. This is what it is. Either we want to be monkeys, or we want to be tigers, or we want to be lions. But we don't want to be human beings that we are. Because of Mr. Ego, which teaches you that you should be something different. These things create an emergency. And these emergencies lead us into areas which are very dangerous. Like, I would say there's a fire, supposing in the other room, all right. There's an emergency created, all right. What happens that when the fire is there, we get so frightened, we enter into another place. And from fire to frying pan, we may land up into something else. So, to be normal, to be in the center, as Buddha has said, to lead a normal life, and not to be unique and abnormal. Sometimes they do it just to create a nuisance value, that people should be able to see your faces. That's why some people walk with red hair. All sorts of things people do. Be normal in the center. And to do that, you don't have to do anything. You are born a normal person, lead a normal life. I mean, if you are abnormally handicapped or anything, that's a different one. But even normal people behave like that. Like this, your Grand Prix and all those things that you do. I mean, you have got hands, feet, everything. Thank God for that. After some time, you find a person without one limb. What? I was in Grand Prix, begging on the street with a violin in the hand. All these subconscious problems come to us and stick to us because of our ego. If we do not identify ourselves with this subconscious and say, no, nothing, this is not important. It comes from very small areas. Like I can tell you about Indians very well because I have seen it very clearly. They are very particular about washing their hands, having their baths. They must have a bath every day. Can you believe it? Even in England. I am not guilty, so I can tell you. And then take a bath in the morning and then go to their work. They don't feel all right without that. They don't feel all right. You see, this is the point. And they die of lung cancer in this country. Day in and day out, day in and day out, for years together. Oh, I never catch cold, nothing happens to me, I'm very happy. And suddenly you find they get a very galloping type of a cancer. So we have to know that we live in a nature, in a country, in a place. We have to adjust our body to that. We must respect that. We must respect that nature and not to fight it. Like we are modern people, except that we live with these machines and things like that. What's the use of growing your hair like a primitive man? You cannot exist as you exist in dense forest of Amazon, can you? We create such emergencies for ourselves by doing these extra special things that tells upon our subconscious, and we become very much prone to cancer. I would say that people can develop cancer from a small thing, like you have got those people who announce His Excellency such and such coming. He may find after some time he becomes His Excellency in the throat. It is possible. Overdoing it, all the time doing the same thing. Shaking hands now. Sometimes really we shake hands with 670, 80 people. I do that. I think now what's going to happen? Just gone shaking hands with people. Change it a little bit. Now it has been on from, I don't know, George the Third or whatever it was. It's still on. It's on in our country, same way in England. And all these, you see, habit formations like that everybody must conform to that subconscious. Sometimes for a change, let us say like this, sometimes shake hands, sometimes walk about. No, it's the same form on and on and on. But I am not against tradition by any chance. For that I must say that traditions which are real traditions are always helpful. But traditions which are just mechanical, for example, paying respect to elders, paying respect to a saint. Now, these days, of course, you can get saints by the dozens. See, if you pay £5, you can get a saint standing there to take some more money from you. So, you can get saints and saints and saints. But still, all such traditions which makes you sublime, a higher personality, they are helpful to life. When I say that subconscious is not to be nourished and is to be looked after, that I do not mean by any chance that you give up your good tradition. So there are some bad things and there are some good things that we need. And the good things we need are susamskaras, are called as good conditionings. There is no word in English like su, but su means the one which is good for your spirit. So the samskaras or the conditionings that are good for you, outright rejection of the complete subconscious is as stupid as outright cancellation of your supraconscious. You have to balance. You have to keep a balanced life between the two. Now when they break traditions, they break it so much, so hard, that the whole society must crack down completely. Can't you do it little bit? Must you crack down everything? And that is how another kind of emergency settles in society. Now today, which is the emergency, which is the worst of all, for which you are not aware of. I think you people are not aware in the West, which is the worst of all emergency that is settling in every human being is a sense of insecurity. Your medias, they blast you every morning. You start feeling what's happening, shocks. Anywhere you go, you find, oh God, this disaster, that disaster. They never talk of anything that will give you peace, tranquility, that will console you, make you happy. You go home, your wife quarrels with you. With such an emergency, what happened? Oh, the tap is out of gear and you never did this, you didn't do that, you don't do that. It could be vice versa. I mean, wife means husband, husband means wife. But the emergencies we create for others, do we understand that we are creating cancer for others? Do we? A man marries a woman. Just see, this is very subtle, one has to understand. And then he says, oh, what's wrong? I'm just friendly with someone, like that. He flirts with other women. He has a keep or something. The woman develops insecurity within herself. And she develops a horrible disease called as breast cancer. The insecurities that develop within us, if they are carried too far by us, you see, by people who think, oh God, how insecure I am. And to overcome that, they end up their lives in the pubs and things like that, and think that they can get rid of their problems, are even worse, much more vulnerable. Those who try to escape the truth and go into subconscious mode. Like, you see here, there's an emergency. If somebody runs into this room, there's safety, but supposing you run into Scotland Yard, what will happen? It's like that. Then emergency develops. If you try to run, you might land up into very, very serious trouble. Face it. If your husband is misbehaving, get after him. Tell him this won't work out. You have to be a faithful man. Nothing doing. And you see to that woman that she gets out. Give her 2-3 straps. Doesn't matter. She deserves it. She has no business to meddle with your married life. If the wife behaves like that, slap her nicely. She has no business to be infidelity to you. Solve the problem. But do not be a person, oh, I don't want to say anything. Let it be. Now he's in love. Blow off such loves and things which creates problems for you. Just go and finish off all these nonsensical things. This creates horrible emergencies for men and women, the worst of all for children. We need peace. Human beings have to live in peace. They are beautifully made. They are made with such care. They are delicate beings. They are not to be hurt. They are not to be tortured. They are not to be troubled. Try to be kind to them. If the parents are not kind to the children, if a person does not have his parents in childhood, he is a volcanic personality. You have to be very, very kind to other people and nice to them. Do not create emergencies in their lives. If you create emergencies in their lives, you are responsible for their troubles and their diseases. One must realize that human being is the most delicate thing that God has created so far. When you really love human beings as a whole, you will realize this. And you'll be amazed how we handle each other, the way we shout, the way we scream at others. There's no delicacy of handling of other people. And that's why, as I said, that if you are unpopular for your meticulous nature, or for your over-asserting, or for your ego, you must know that you are creating an emergency for others. Ego might give you a satisfaction. Oh, I've done her right. That's what. I've done him right. It's good for him. Let him have it. But there is God above us who will judge us. But when we talk of the subconscious, you see, we suddenly go into extremes of that also. It's something, human beings are always to be saved. Don't go too much this side. Supposing you fall, this side you fall, or you go that side and fall, you fall, isn't it? Is it that when you come this side you do not fall and that side you fall? So both the sides, if you move, go to extremes, you fall. So both the sides must be saved. And that's why I must warn you before I stop this lecture, that when we go too much to the subconscious and we worry too much about the subconscious, then what happens? Oh, don't say anything. Let him do what he likes. He's doing anything. I should say anything. Why should we be harsh to them? And we should not hurt. After all, whatever is doing is all right. Do not hurt him. Even a murderer comes before you. Oh, please, please, don't say anything to him. Now he's not a murderer. This is going to another side. This is called as Kaivalya in Sanskrit, in which people give up their weapons, like Arjuna did. Arjuna was a disciple of Sri Krishna, just like my disciples here, He was also there. And when the war came, he was a great warrior till the war started. When the war started, he said, "Oh Krishna, what's the use of killing these? They are my brothers, my sisters, my teacher, my revered elders. How can I kill them? Just for a piece of land? I cannot kill them." He gets into that subconscious mode. And on this base was based Krishna's philosophy. Those who can read through the lines can see that he tried to establish that this kind of a non-violence of a poor person, of a weak, is no non-violence. It is cowardice, is Kaivalya. Even the non-violence of Arjuna is cowardice. For he said, "Who is killed? Your spirit is never killed." But for the religious establishment, religious doesn't mean, the wars of roses and all that. I mean the religion within yourself. For standing up for the truth of any cause is the war of dharma, is the war of sustenance that sustains the society. So you have to rise against all such things. You have to fight it, because if you fight for that, you get your moksha. And if you live, people will call you victorious. It is a very balancing factor. Like many people tell me, have told me many a times also, that "Mother, why do you criticize the fake gurus? What should I do? Should I garland them?" These are horrible devils who were born before also and were killed by goddess. And today I see them so clearly, and should I go and say, "Oh, you great people," what should I do? Krishna said that whenever there is fall of sustenance, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharat, when it goes down, the righteousness falls off. Then vinashaya cha dushkritam, to kill, to destroy these horrible negative forces, paritranaya sadhuna, to save and to sustain the saints. Sambhavami yuge yuge, I come in every age in human form. It was Christ who on the cross said that, "Forgive them, O Father, for they do not know what they are doing." And the same one took a hunter and hit these people hard when they were making money in the name of God. We never see the balancing factor in life that's typical of human beings. If they go on to one side, they'll go on to one side. If they go on to another, either they'll become Hitlers or they'll become some sort of, I don't know what to call them, some sort of people who have no backbone, nothing. Cabbages. You are human beings, and a human being has to be in the center. And this is what now, because I've worked in London itself for so many years, that even now, the Sahajogis of London every time require a reminder that you have to cleanse yourself. Keep your mind clean, your heart clean, because Mataji perhaps is a good speaker. You just come here, listen to her and forget about it. It's not going to help. My lectures are just useless, absolutely useless, if you cannot rise up to the point where you feel you are really clean. You all have to work it out. Do not justify it. For human beings, it is important to know that after realization you are attacked much more than you are attacked before. Temptations are much more. The Satan himself came to tempt Christ because he knew that Christ was so powerful. In the same way, when you are saints, the temptations come to you. If you yield to them, then it can be very dangerous. We have to know that as we are delicate, we have to be careful. But as we have the power to overgrow these things as Sahajogis, we have to take arms into our hands and fight ourselves out. We have to create such Sahajogis in London that they themselves becomes the advertisement. As today we were discussing what to do about Sahajoga, how to advertise, how to do this. Nothing works out. What works out really is a pure Sahajogi, a good Sahajogi. Example is of one Mr. Dhumal. He went to the commissioner's office in Pune, and while dealing with the thing, maybe Indians are more sensitive to saints, they recognized that he was a saint. They said, "Sir, will you please tell us who is your guru?" They said, "I have a mother." All that office of that commissioner is today Sahajogis. One person just changed the whole thing, transformed it. When we think of organizing things for Sahajoga and all that, we must know, are we ourselves organized to that extent? All right, mother works very hard, she cleanses you, she works for 3-4 hours, she'll cleanse your subconscious, she'll do this. But how are you yourself? What is your own picture about you? Yourself. And this is important, very important for all of us. It's a very important time we are in. There are so many seekers who are getting just drowned for no fault of theirs. They can be lost. Every Sahajogi has a duty towards his spirit and towards God Almighty, that he must try his level best to keep himself beautifully shining and shining others with joy, happiness and bliss. May God bless you. We have to make one thing very clear to all the people, new people who come to Sahajog. Supposing somebody has a background of a terrible black magic training and all that, or somebody is a teacher, say, of, say, TM, or a teacher or a Guru Raj business or sort of a person. If you have all this kind of background, you have to be extra careful about yourself. You have to be extra careful. Because after realizations of people, even here in the hall, they are terrified within yourself. They would like to run away. But when you are alone, they will try to tempt you in the beginning. So after realization, you have to establish yourself with very great care. Otherwise, you can be lost, you can be in trouble. And then don't blame Sahaja Yoga for that. Whatever is Sahaja Yoga, it is. You cannot mold it. It is the way it is. Whatever background you have, your subconscious, wherever have you been, you please remember that you have to be very careful. At least for a month, you must be very, very careful and see to it that you do not expose yourself to these old environments. I would suggest that you better keep more to yourself, at least for 7 to 10 days. Do not go out too much. Keep to yourself. Your precious things for God. He looks after you, no doubt. But as you have been through so many horrible things, it's possible that you might be attacked. And then don't blame Sahaja Yoga for that. That can happen, has happened to so many people I know of. So be careful after getting realization, like the seedling. When it is sprouted, how we are careful with the seedling for some time till it becomes a tree. We are not so careful with the seed. We are not. But with the seedling, it's so delicate. That's how you must look after your realization. That's how you must work it out. Can I have questions from you? आओ. अच्छा. So, this is a question coming. तो ये छोटी वाली दूसरी से तुम दोस्ती जोड़.
नानी आज मेरी बात नहीं मान रही.
अच्छा, कोई बात नहीं. तुम ओरियल से नहीं बात करो, तुम उससे छोटी हो ना, तो उसको बात मानना पड़ेगी. तुम्हारी दोस्त है ना बड़ी प्यारी सी, उससे बात करो.
पर नानी ये भी बात नहीं मान.
क्या बात बता रहे हो?
कुछ ऐसा गंदा वाला बोल.
नहीं, दोस्ती कर ले. दोस्ती करना चाहिए. अच्छा. हाँ हाँ. Now, is there any question? Little loudly. फिर तुमको हम घर भेज देंगे क्योंकि सबसे हम बात कर रहे हैं ना. फिर अभी यहाँ खेलो किस तरह. Come in, you come here and just tell me. Today my ears have blown inside out, you see. I've been working on someone which has really killed me in action. Just ask the question, please.
Your Holiness, you spoke of being attacked and picking things up from others. May I ask if one should try to avoid that, or whether one should just accept it?
Oh, that's a good question. He says if you are attacked, whether one should avoid it or one should accept it. It's a very simple answer. Now, any Sahaja Yogi who can answer it, let's see. Now, testing point. Such simple things, I tell you. What happens to the intellectuals? Kamala, no answer. Huh? That's true, but his question is very, very straight. If you are attacked, should you run away from that or should you face it? Huh? No, not necessarily. It's very simple, actually. It's very simple. It's this, that if you can face it, otherwise you run away. There's no need to face. Forget it. We are not responsible for all these mad people. No. Try once or twice. Otherwise, just run away as soon as possible. With a speed of 500 miles per hour. If it is coming to you. It's very simple. Again the wisdom. You see the balancing part. You need not. If I say face, doesn't mean anybody coming you face. Measure it up. Alright? If you can, manage it. Otherwise, take the other course. Makes no difference. In Sahaja Yoga, you are not branded as anything like a man with a sword. You are a man with a sword and also a shield. If it comes to the shield, alright, have the shield on. And you can place the shield into his hand and run away. It's alright. We must learn. This is known as Krishna Niti. But this I will tell you a very simple example of Krishna style. He is called as Ranchhod Das, the one who ran away from the fields. Imagine Krishna's name is Ranchhod Das, the one who ran away from the fields. It's such a shameful thing to run away. There was a horrible devil who was given certain boons by Brahmadeva. And he could not be killed by normal methods, you see. And Krishna knew that he won't be able to kill him with his Sudarshan Chakra. He didn't want his Sudarshan Chakra to be spoiled, you see, the thing that discuss he used. So, he knew about a big sage who was meditating in his sleep in a cave, very near that battlefield. And this sage had a boon that as soon as you will open your eyes from this meditation, the first person you will see will become into ashes. So Krishna started running away from the field. People said, oh, look at him, like a coward he's running. But this devil would not give in. He started running after him. Krishna ran very fast, you see. Played all the tricks, illusions, and he ran. And he was covering himself with a shawl, like this. And this sage was sleeping there. He went and very delicately he put his shawl on top of that sage, and he was still fast asleep. When this fellow followed him into the cave, Krishna had hidden himself. He went into the cave, see. And he thought this was Krishna who was sleeping there. So starts to say, hey, you Krishna, now you are sleeping here, you are tired, you've run out of the fields, but I'm going to kill you. And as soon as he said that, this fellow got up and looked at him, and the fellow became into ashes. It is tomfoolery to fight someone who is going to trouble us. Why should we? But if you can face up to someone, sure, then you become so very strong, like me, I should say, that you don't run away. But sometimes I also run away, I must tell you. Because I get fed up sometimes, the way things are. Not from demonic forces so much as from some of the Sahajogis. I see to it that they don't see me anymore. Because they never improve. They always become tools, instruments in the hands of satanic forces and bring horrible things to me. Then I don't want to have mosquitoes around, isn't it? Then you want to put a mosquito net around you in the same way. We don't ask mosquitoes, you come and bite and I'll bite you. So it could be on any level. We have to judge with our wisdom. One must know that Sahaja Yogi are the most important thing in the whole creation today. One should not become egoistical, of course. I must give the balance. But they are, no doubt. So we should know how to preserve ourselves, and preserve for what? Not for pickling out yourself, but for fighting. But first preservation is important. If you are not there, what are you fighting with? So it's question of wisdom. It's very simple. Sahaja Yoga is so simple, no complication. Like this, you judge everything. I mean, these norms of human acceptances, like, you see, you are a big hero even if you cut your nose. That's not in Sahaja. You're not going to cut your nose, but you'll be a hero. That's how. I would not like any one of my children to be hurt even this much. And there are so many ways of avoiding it. Now, any other question? This lady is there. For her, I have to tell her one thing. That you must understand what you have to have as a seeker. That's very important. Otherwise, one would never see who is all right, who is not all right. Like TM, let's set the better. People might say, what's wrong? What's good? First of all, let's go on to that point. The minimum of minimum. What good it has done? It has polished off your money. Are you flying? Any one of you flying? Face it. Everybody has become a poor person, has got epilepsy. So many of them have got epilepsy. Are you cured of your troubles? Are you physically helped? No. So it's nothing good. Why should you pay? Only good it has got is one, that it takes money from you. You see, makes you a little lighter. If you have too much, no income tax problem, bank problem, it's already gone. If that is the thing you want to have, then it's all right. Then go ahead of it. Has your life been helped? In any other way? Are you a recluse? Or are you a person who can articulate with others? Very normal. The highest of highest, one should know that you are the spirit. Are you manifesting your spirit anywhere? Are you collectively conscious? Are you actually collectively conscious? Or just it's a make-believe? Are you that awareness which is described? Just face it. Sahaja Yoga is just the other way around. You cannot please it by giving money to it. No, it doesn't consider anything. Also, it cannot bother about how many efforts you have put in, how many times you have been, and all that. No. It doesn't bother about these things. On the contrary, if you are still attached to all such things, it just recedes. It recedes, it's recession all the time. It's very difficult. I go on pushing it. It recedes, you see. Either you have to change your attitude or it has to change. But it does not, because it is eternal thing. It does not change. It's changeless. So you better change your attitude and accept it. Otherwise the spirit is changeless. It recedes back. It recedes to such an extent that one may get a heart attack and die because of his recession. So you have to really come with an attitude of reception, Otherwise it recedes. Sahaja Yoga is such a beautiful thing, but its qualities are not changeable. There's no compromise. No compromise. It does not compromise. It stands in its own authority, in its own glory, in its own nature. It doesn't change. You can pay any amount of money or need not pay. You may put in effort, nothing. You bring to any color, creed, anything. Makes no difference to Sahaja Yoga. Nothing. It's the acceptance. It's the readily acceptance of your spirit and not of your ego. While in other places, they might pamper your ego, they might give you a mesmerism, hurting your superego. Here, it is your spirit. Absolutely your spirit which you have to achieve, to which you have to surrender to recognize that you are the spirit. Alright? No flying, no jumping, nothing. It's the spirit, the manifestation of the spirit. Is as simple as that. One has to have a humble attitude towards it, or otherwise the spirit doesn't come. One has to be humble. It's a grace. It's a gift. It's a gift of God. It's your own. I agree. It's your own. But it's a gift. And for that, we have to accept it with a humble heart. Otherwise, it doesn't work out. It won't work out, my child. It won't work out. I am your mother, all right. But Sahaja Yoga is not. Mother means many things. Sahaja Yoga is not. It judges you very much. I do not. It does. So be careful. Mother is much larger than Sahaja Yoga. And so she forgives and she knows and she tells you and she says, no. It's all right. But I must warn you that Sahaja Yoga recedes. That's why we have few Sahaja Yogis. You have to accept it for your own good with understanding. Can I just come forward?
As one grows, one becomes more connected with other people. And one wonders what happens in this cleansing process when one may lose a desire or one becomes cleansed in some way.
Desire for?
No, but one wonders what happens to the desires that one loses and whether the people one is connected with have to bear that burden. Could you say anything about
Have to bear what?
any burden that is shed from us in the cleansing process?
All right, please. See, now if you say are a person who is a married man, say example I'm saying, you do not give up your marriage in Sahaja Yoga. On the contrary, you become a tougher person to bear it up if there's a problem. You become a sweeter person to enjoy it. And you become a master how to solve the problems of married life. So actually what happens is that the situations that are created or the things that look so impossible start become absolutely like a myth to you and you know how to solve them. So you do not have to secede from people, but gradually you will start changing your priorities. You will start yourself automatically. Because you won't enjoy their company, but you will have another company. The company of people with whom you should be identified. They are your type, your style, who think for the betterment of one's own spirit and the spirit of this universe. Such people. Now, all such people have to gather together. When they start clinging together, all of them. All right? Maybe in the beginning you might find some of them may not join. They may think, oh, he's gone, he's finished, he's no good. But we are normal people. We live like normal people. There's no dress, special dress, nothing. You just behave like absolutely normal people. You do not sever your relations with anyone. There's no need to sever. With whom to sever relations if you are not connected with anyone? It's a question of inner detachment. Only thing you get concerned about people that they are not in Sahaja Yoga. Also you get concerned about people who try to go against God. And when you realize what is the truth is, you get concerned that they should come to it. Your priorities change, your authority change, and your complete attitude becomes different. You become a benevolent personality. You are no more just a connection, but a benevolent personality. That's what happens to you. You have a more relationship, deeper relationships with your family, with everyone. Now we have in Sahaja Yoga, one person comes in, the family comes in. Now Ray is here. His parents are now Sahaja Yogis in Sheffield. And I'm going to see them there. I'll be very happy to meet them. So many people who gave up their parents. Kay is here. Or so many like that. Have gone back to their parents. So it's a different thing altogether. It's a living process of the manifestation of divine love. The whole thing changes. But one thing is sure, you cannot force Sahaja Yoga on anyone. My own daughters are not yet realized souls. What can I do? It's all right. When the time will come, they will get it. I've never forced that on them. They may not be even knowing what is Kundalini, perhaps. So my daughters, how many daughters I must have had, and I have. How many wives we must have had in previous lives, and how many husbands, God alone. So why worry? That way you are so lonely, isn't it? Only in collective consciousness you have common feeling, commonness. Who are my brothers and who are my sisters? Ask Christ. There is nothing like breaking up with any family. You don't have to judge anyone. We have very good methods by which we re-establish family system. Family system is to be re-established. It's very important for us. Actually, automatically it happens. Spontaneously. You start getting concerned. Oh God, what are these people doing? When are they going to come to God? It becomes automatic reaction of a Sahaja Yogi. Alright? Now should we meditate? Put our hands like this. Just put your state. Now close your eyes. Please close your eyes. You feel a cool breeze in the hand coming in. Close your eyes.
And do not concentrate on any point. Put your both the feet like this, straight. Right? Just and depend upon yourself. It's going to work out. Everybody is going to get it. Do not concentrate your attention onto anything. I'm feeling the cool breeze in the hand. Just have a very balanced attitude. Neither of joy, nor of, expression of some sort of a thing like that. Or of any unhappiness. Just be watching. Just be watching. Getting in? It's very subtle. It's very subtle. But when it happens, you start feeling it very much. Put your hand straight. Straight like this.